What is up, everybody, and thank you all so much for checking out my review of the Elite FTS leg extension and hamstring curl machine. Great plate loaded machine that really will take your home gym, or in my case, a little personal training studio set up to the next level. So we're gonna get into some of the biggest pros, cons, the specifications, all that good stuff about this piece of equipment. Just going through YouTube, there isn't a lot about this machine, and I think it's extremely underrated. There's a video here and there, but I want to give my thoughts after using it for over a year with myself and my own training and with my clients as well. But before we get into all of that, I'd really appreciate it if you guys helped me grow this channel by hitting my video with a like, hitting that subscribe button, and if you're trying to do the most, hit that notification bell so you will continuously see my updates on training footage. I like to educate people and try to make the fitness space a little bit better. I always like to talk a little bit about why I decided to go with this piece of equipment. And I think, as I was saying, it kind of just legitimizes my space and differentiates it between being just like a garage or a home gym to like an actual personal training studio. You can get a ton of great work in with a squat rack, some boxes, but having this machine makes leg training accessible for people that can't squat or maybe can't even belt squat. So that's why I'm a huge fan, and that's why when I was originally in the market for several pieces of equipment that fit within a budget, I made room for this piece. I thought it was going to be very important, and it paid off because I get a ton of use out of this by myself and with all my clients. Now, I also want to talk about why I specifically went with the Elite FTS piece of equipment, especially when at the time when I bought it, there was no reviews, no hype around it on social media. It had been out for a couple years, but there wasn't a ton out there on its quality. And that's because I know Elite FTS and the company that they get their machines from, Williams Strength, they only put out the highest quality equipment. Like all of these machines that you've seen me review so far have stood the test of time, even though it's only been a year, but I know that this stuff will last me a long time. It's worth my money. It functions extremely well, so I'm 100% on board with the decision I made to purchase this machine, and definitely going to be purchasing from Elite FTS in the future as well. Starting off the review specifically though, I think it's important to mention the specs of this machine so you can plan to make space for it or just plan to make sure it fits in the space that you have. So I'm reading this copied it directly off of their website. The frame of this piece of equipment is 2x2 11 gauge steel. It's extremely sturdy stuff that holds up very, very well. It has 4x8 inch rolling foot pads. So you'll see down here for the leg curl section and the leg extension. That's the dimensions you're looking at for that. And then it is 2 feet wide, 24 inches wide by 55.5 inches long. It takes up a decent amount of space in the gym, but you know, I think you can fit this into a wide variety of spaces because it isn't very wide. You know, if you're working and you have to kind of stack things more, I guess, efficiently than I have plenty of space out here, then you can definitely make it fit. Some of the other options, which I've never used them, so I can't really speak on their quality. I'm guessing they're high quality, but I'm still very confident that Elite FTS would hold to the test of time. Another option would be the Prime Fitness seated leg extension and hamstring curl, and I believe there's one from Titan Fitness as well, and Sorinex definitely has a selectorized seated leg curl, leg extension. Of course, when you're going with selectorized, the price jumps up by thousands and thousands of dollars. Right now, this piece of equipment is listed at a very affordable $1,060, excuse me, on Elite FTS's website. I feel like that's a pretty good bargain for everything that you're getting out of this machine. I will say when I originally bought it last January, it was cheaper, but with everything in the world, prices have jumped up. So I wouldn't expect it to go back down, unfortunately. Overall though, a very good value for your money. And let's get into why I think that way. One of the critiques that I got from these reviews is that I need some B-roll. So you're gonna see some B-roll of the upholstery, some of the specifications of the machine, and then me using it, of course. So I think the biggest pro of why I like this machine is that it's very, very smooth. So when you're doing leg extensions and leg curls, you're gonna be getting a great contraction, great stimulus to those muscles, and it works very, very well as designed. I will say from the Basement Brandon page on YouTube, I learned a very cool hack, which you'll see in my training footage, where if you actually throw on a band, it evens out the resistance or strength curve. Because with plate loaded machines, inevitably, when a lever arm is extending, the load can kind of change. It's not going to change noticeably, but in certain parts of the range of motion, you might feel it's harder than others. And by using this mini, I believe, or micro band from Elite FTS's website, you can hook this right on the band pegs, which is another great asset of this machine, is that it has band pegs. Either way, it's not going to make a huge difference, and you won't notice any huge gaps in performance if you don't use a band, but I think it's definitely a good idea and a great asset that this machine has. Along with those band pegs, a couple other specifications that I really like in practice of this machine are the handles. It has 2 sets of handles that are, very, very sturdy. You can really lock yourself into this machine, which I like doing for all lower body machines, whether it's leg extension or even something like a leg press. So you have 2 sets of handles, one for the leg extensions, one for the hamstring curls, that really will help you lock in. And really well built out, as with all things that Williams Strength and Elite FTS puts out there. The pole or peg that you load plates onto is extremely sturdy, and it's powder coated, so it's holding up well over this year of use. And there's so much room on that I don't even think some of the strongest lifters could really max that out. You can stack tons and tons of plates on there. I usually max it out at around 3 plates for leg extensions. So plenty of room. You don't have to worry about not being able to load a ton, even if you're extremely strong. And another asset of the machine, other than like the functionality, is the upholstery is very nice for this price. It's got a little bit of a grippy feel, much better than most of those kind of like generic commercial equipment lines. So I'm a big fan of the upholstery for the price. It does, like, for some of my ladies out there that are coming from work, it does kind of like hold makeup, and you really have to scrub that. So if that's something that you need to keep in mind, just think about that and keep it in mind. But it's definitely not a make or break for me. Just something to think about. But I'm a big fan of the upholstery overall. One thing that I think can be considered as both a pro and a con for this machine, mostly a pro, is the adjustability. It offers a really simple pin and sliding lock-in mechanism for these rolling foot pads. I will say with the leg extension portion though, for some reason you have to unscrew it, and I don't really know why you have to unscrew that. Like I would think they could have built that a little bit differently to the part where the pin does the job, but it's a little tedious when you're either adjusting between training partners or adjusting for a client to have to unscrew it, adjust, and then screw it back in. Not the end of the world, but it's just something that I wish could be a little bit better, and maybe some of those other options would offer. I don't know that for a fact. And then finally, my last pro is just this machine functions so well to bring my space to the next level. It's not just a garage gym that people are paying me to train them out of. It's a legitimate gym space with some really nice machines. So I think, if you're looking to just bring your home gym up to the next level, or if you want to open a space conscious, or if you're just getting started out opening a facility, these plate loaded machines from Elite FTS are a really great option. Alrighty, a couple of the cons, which aren't big deal breakers for me, but I wish they could just be a little bit different. The first one would be that on Elite FTS's website, there are actually 2 offerings for this type of machine. One is kind of like their premier, slightly more adjustability, and then there's this one, which is the cheaper one. So with that more expensive, more adjustability, you have the option to raise this front peg up from how it declines here to an incline, and that makes it really accessible for doing things like seal rows, chest supported rows, stuff like that. And I do wish that this had maybe just a flat pad instead of a decline, because then it would make rows a lot more accessible. Unfortunately, they are just limited in range of motion when you're doing them this way. So one of the things that I wish could be a little bit different in the design, or if they included the adjustability on just this front part, that would be really cool as well. Moving on with another con is that I guess because of the way that they made space for 45s to be loaded on this machine, it's very high. So like I'm 6'2", and this front pad comes right up about to hip level. So like if you're training short people or people with a little less hip mobility, getting on to the leg extension and raising your leg up and over can be a little tedious. So not something that I personally have to deal with because I'm pretty mobile, I'm pretty tall, but for some of my clients, it is kind of like a struggle to get on and off, especially when you have to do like a superset of like hamstring curls and leg extensions. It's just tedious for older individuals. So keep that in mind. You know, there might be a little bit better options if you're training a slightly less mobile population. And I will say as the final con for this machine that it's very, very heavy. Not the heaviest machine that I own, but like there's no way you could easily move this by yourself. I've done it in the past and it's really tough to do when I'm cleaning over here. So just know that, you know, if you're getting this off of a pallet, it's gonna require 2 people, which they did ship it in the pallet. Probably be a good idea to have someone here to help you moving it, because I mean, it is, you get what you pay for. It's a very substantial piece of equipment, and yeah, that's what you're paying for. That's what you're gonna get with it. Overall consensus, guys, if you're looking to once again level up your home gym or get a really good plate loaded leg extension, leg curl, this Elite FTS option it's going to be a great option and very, very cost effective one at that. So I can't recommend this machine enough. And I hope you guys appreciate the review. If you have any questions, always feel free to either shoot me an email or you know, shoot me a comment down in the comment section below, and I'll try to get to all of those that I can. I really appreciate you guys for sticking with me. It's been a minute since I've done a review, but I want to get all of this great equipment I have in here reviewed, because it's a lot of fun to put these videos together and to engage with the audience this way. So I appreciate you all. Once again, like the video, hit me with that subscribe, share it around if you have any gym owner friends, or if you want to suggest that your gym owner buys this piece, send them my way and I'll do my best to sell it to them. Appreciate everybody over at Elite FTS. If anyone's catching this video, keep up the great work that you guys do, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.